Hey guys. All right. My name is Ron, and I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for quite some time. Got a lot of projects going on. I just got my house, and I have a lot of hills, pretty big property. I'm guessing 2.5, 3 acres. We have 10 acres total, but not all of it gets mowed. The majority of the property is hills. So I couldn't just get away with just using a regular lawn tractor, and I needed something that had a little more oomph. So I was looking around on newer tractors, new garden tractors, and zero turns really don't work because anytime I come up to a hill, if I'm going around these trees or anything else, I almost always had one wheel up in the air when I tried, you do those demo ones where you can try them out for a few times. It failed miserably. I mean, there's only a very tiny portion of my property that you're seeing here, but zero turns didn't work. And my dad, years ago, when he used to have this house, because I bought it from him, he tried a lawn tractor and fried the motor the third time out with it because it relied on splash. It didn't have an oil pump because the thing is just always on hills. So that didn't work. And not only that, even when it did run, he just said he could actually feel the frame and everything twisting on him underneath it. So obviously I needed something a lot tougher. So of course I went to the old garden tractors. That's where things are really at. Anything modern, I swear to God, you're gonna be spending 12 to 15 grand on something decent that'll hold up. This caught my eye right here. This is where it all started. 1963 Simplicity 725. The motor was shot in it, but it came with, at the time, a 42-inch deck, which was junk. It came with a rototiller and 2 snow blowers. I think that's everything. Yeah. So anyways, the motor was totally trash, absolutely junk, and that was fine because I knew I was going to swap in something else. I wanted to swap in something with an oil pump, and I will get more into this at a later time, but this is an 18-horse Briggs Vanguard motor that I swapped in, and it does absolutely fantastic. The ATV tires on the rear do great with the hills, and I have front tires from a snowblower on the front. Because what was happening, I was obviously, like I said, with all the hills, I was slipping around all over the place. It just wasn't working, and I kept getting little diggers, from the tire slipping. You would think that would chew my lawn up, but since it grips so well, it does absolutely zero damage. It works great. And of course, since I got the tractor, of course I had to get attachments, which makes life a lot easier. And these old Simplicities, the attachments are so cheap. It's awesome. I got a sickle bar, and I'm gonna make separate videos for each one of these things. I'm just trying to do an overview right now. One, to try to keep track of myself. I can always refer, for my own sake, I can always refer back to an old video that I made for part numbers or techniques or things that I did, kind of refresh myself, and to hopefully help a few of you guys out there. So anyways, I got a sickle bar. I got other tractors. I found a Montgomery, a Garden Mark Squire, which was made by Simplicity for Montgomery Ward. This one, from my understanding, is a 1962. This one runs, but it smokes. It smokes, and I believe it has some kind of ignition problem. I've gone through the carb a couple times now. The gas tank's clean, new fuel line, new filter. But after like 15, 20 minutes of runtime, like clockwork, it just shuts off, and you can't even consider starting the engine until it fully cools off for like at least an hour or two. Then you can start it, then like clockwork, 20 minutes later, it shuts off. Probably ignition related, but it leaks oil. Like I said, it smokes. The compression isn't the greatest. It's tired. So I picked up, actually just yesterday, another Vanguard to swap in to this one. I really like having the manual transmission. in certain cases. In other cases, I really, really wish I had a hydrostatic. Well, I picked one up out of that little guy. That one, the engine was seized, had a lot of problems, but the hydro on it was good, and it had a hydraulic lift. It had the rear lift and everything on it, so I saved all that, the seat pan, everything, and I'm going to swap that along with the Vanguard into this one. It's going to be really nice having the hydro lift, because here's kind of the plan. I guess let me get back up a little bit. The sickle bar I have here, I bought for use around, I have two ponds in the back. One of them I trim around, and what I do is I hook it onto the tractor and it hangs way low. And like I said, I'll make a separate video of all this. But it hangs way low and I'm able to trim around the entire pond. Because before, I'd spend like an hour and a half just with a freaking weed whacker to do the same job that I can get done with this in about 10 minutes. It's awesome. So what I'd like to do is have one tractor with the sickle bar on it, one tractor with the lawnmower deck on it for the summer, so I don't have to keep switching attachments back and forth and back and forth. Yes, the attachments are easy to switch out on these, but when you're doing it every week, constantly taking the deck on and off, it gets really old. Really, really old. So I want one with the sickle bar, one with the deck. And then in the wintertime, I'd like one with one of the plows on it and one with a snowblower on it. So there too, I don't have to constantly keep switching back and forth with the snowblower and the plow. The plow works great for when it's only a few inches of snow, and the snowblower doesn't really work, let me rephrase that, it doesn't work well unless there's more snow, and it's just more clunky to move around, it's just slower. The dozer blade I use, the plow blade, I just start in my center aisle and just keep going round and round and round and round, and I can do my whole driveway. You can't see it, but it goes down to the road down that way. I can do my whole driveway in like 15-20 minutes. It's not a big deal. It's just more clunky with the snowblower, and you need more snow for those old school single stage snowblowers. So one on one tractor and one on the other. It'll just be a lot more handy. So that's a little bit of overview. There's a couple other things that I'll show you too. I just picked this up a couple weeks ago. My grader blade is meant for a small frame tractor, from what I'm told, and I can see that it doesn't quite fit. So I'm gonna make a little adapter so that it fits my garden tractors. Or maybe I guess I could use it with the small frame, which I do actually have here. This little Simplicity 717. But I don't know, I haven't really quite decided yet. Maybe I'll make a removable adapter or something. Because somebody at one point got a little creative there with something. I'm not quite sure what they did. They'd used it on some other tractor, obviously. So either way, I'm going to have to do a little hacking. So at this point, I'll just have to figure out what I want to do. I'm not really quite sure yet. But I made some other interesting projects. I used an old snowblower that I made a dump bucket out of. I'll definitely get into that. That snowblower was an old 3-belt blower. The auger was bent, if that's what you call it. The bearings were totally shot. The pulleys were beyond rust. The thing was a basket case. I'm like, well, you know what? I'll just strip it all out, weld on a pivot bracket, and make a dump box out of it. And I use that for the mulch and everything, because I have a lot of landscaping going around the house. Yes, I know it's very weedy. I did a very poor job of maintaining it. Had a lot of things going on this year, so. But the dozer worked great because I could just have a big pile of mulch here in the corner of the driveway, drive right up, and then just dump it wherever I wanted. So, I mean, it's not like it's a full-on, what do you call it? I mean, it's not a very heavy-duty thing, but for just little things like little stone and mulch and just little light-duty stuff, it just attaches to the front of the tractor. You lift it up with one arm, and then you have a separate lever to pull it and dump it. So, very simple thing, very handy for just light duty stuff. Made my life a lot easier without having to dump a million things into a wheelbarrow. Anyways, yeah, it's approaching the 10-minute mark here, so A lot of fun projects. A lot of this stuff I got for next to nothing. That's what I like about the Simplicity stuff, because being in Wisconsin here, I'm in Simplicity land since they just made these, when they built these things over in Port Washington. It's only a half an hour from me here in West Bend. They're just fun. I mean, I have respect for a lot of the other ones, Bohlins, John Deere, yada, yada, yada. Bohlins, I don't know how those guys get parts for those things. I know a few of my friends had those, and they had a hell of a time with certain things. Simplicities, I can go in literally every single part on this tractor. Seals, bearings, bushings, whatever it may be. Absolutely every single thing that I needed, they either had in stock or they were able to order it and get it to me within a day or two. It's been awesome and very reasonably priced. And all the attachments are reasonably priced. I bought a nice 42-inch snowblower that's in perfect working order. The bearings are nice. Everything about it that I got to work for this tractor. I mean, I bought that thing for, I think I paid like $50, $75. It's great. The attachments are just cheap and they work really well. And even if they don't hold up super long term, if I get 5-10 years out of it, I'll just go pick up another one. Not like a John Deere. A snowblower for a John Deere around here by me, for even one that's like 30-40 years old, you'll be spending like $700-800 on it. For a snowblower that really doesn't look a whole lot different than the Simplicity blowers. It just makes no sense to me. I'm sorry, but you're just buying name at that point. Like I said, nothing against John Deere. I just don't like the price tag that goes with them. So, anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. I've been rambling on here for quite some time. And, yeah, like I said, I'll make dedicated videos for each individual project, so it'll be easy to refer back to. When I really start diving into that with my swap, I'm going to do a step-by-step with rebuilding the bevel gearbox and also rebuilding the hydrostatic transmission. That was from the 71, I think that was a 7119 or 17. I got to look again, I don't remember. Rebuilding the hydro, rebuilding a manual transmission, because I'm going to rebuild that one as a spare for this. So hopefully that should help some of you guys out, because even looking up something like a rebuild procedure for the bevel gearbox, it was hard finding information out there, any reliable information, I should say. There's a lot of mixed things that I read, and you know, because I rebuilt the one in here, and I was able to figure it out in the end, so I'll share with you what I came across and what I did. Because even the one seal for the bearing is, you can't get the original seal anymore, and the replacement seal isn't correct. And I'll get into that later. So, anyways, I'm sorry, I'm rambling again. Well, hopefully this helps you guys out with some of these videos, and I'll see you soon.